Get up, gearheads. The cars are rolling in for Caffeine and Octane, the largest monthly car show exclusively from Amelia Island. Fill up on some coffee, top off the octane, and head on down.
Oh my, I don't think I've ever seen one of these in person. This is priceless stuff.
Oh, wow. It's beautiful.
So what's it making on the dyno? 1,200 horsepower.
This was an experiment. The whole car was an experiment. They dubbed this engine the mystery motor.
Amelia Island, Florida, the 26th annual Amelia Island Concours d'Elegance. What more can I say?
You say something about that suit.
Now you know I look damn good.
And, you know, Ricky, it's all about historical preservation.
Yeah, Colonel Sanders is preserved. You might look good, Skip. You might look good, but you're not quite as good as I look in my 70 Challenger when I pulled up.
Your 70 Challenger? You mean your Haggerty drive share?
Well, I'm VIP there. They give me what I want.
Ricky, they give everybody what they want.
I think I saw McKeel Haggerty, and I need to go speak with him about the car of the show.
Yeah, you go ahead, Colonel. Walk ahead of us. That's a Duesenberg, 26 Duesenbergs, a lot of Duesenberg. Oh, wow. They're all Duesenbergs, right?
Yep.
Why is this car so much longer than those? It's different.
This is a really special Duesenberg.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely special.
1929 Duesenberg Model J, LeBaron Dual Cowl Phaeton. When this car was bought new, the cost was $14,300, and the buyer paid cash. The Duesenberg itself was the most luxurious, high-performance, pre-war American car ever built. 265 horsepower, all of them built with custom bodies. This is the only one that was built on a long wheelbase chassis.
This particular one or this model?
This particular car.
This is a one-off car?
Yes. 154-inch wheelbase.
Oh, wow. This car was built as a limo? Because look at the back here.
So this would be the Dual Cowl Phaeton. So this separate piece, this is like a second cowl with its own windshield. But to get in the car, you would open the door.
Okay.
And there's a hidden handle here. And you release this handle, and this comes up, and now you've got room to get in the back.
Look at the room. Unbelievable.
There's even a fold-out footrest. Look at that. They thought about everything.
They did. So what kind of motor is in this thing? Is it 6-cylinder, small motor?
No, not at all. This is
oh my God, what the heck?
So this is a straight 8, 420 cubic inches.
What?
Dual overhead cam, 265 horsepower.
They didn't come, they did not, this car came with this motor?
I promise you.
Why would they put such a, okay, we know we need a motor this big to pull a car this big, but the car didn't come this big.
They wanted to build the most powerful, the most luxurious car. That was the mandate to the Duesenberg brothers from their boss.
265 horsepower in 1929?
Yep, and these cars can do 90 miles an hour. They got a 3-speed transmission, 90 miles an hour in second gear. I mean, these are locomotives.
I'm normally not even interested in vehicles like this. You guys know I'm more of a fast guy, but I'm telling you, I'm blown away. Like, wow, I want to ride in there.
Oh my.
Hey, how are you doing?
How are you?
I'm great. I'm great.
What's your name?
I'm Dennis Garrity.
Dennis, pleasure to meet you. What do we have here? I'm not sure I've ever seen one of these in person.
Ferrari 342 America Cabriolet Speciale by Vinali.
By Vinali?
By Vinali, yes.
Wow.
Ferrari produced what you might call a rolling chassis, but they didn't body the cars in the early days. They would send them out to what they called coach builders. And they sent the first chassis to Alfredo Vinali.
Wow.
So for 342 Americas, there were 6 of them built.
Okay.
Only one by Vinali.
So I definitely have never seen one of these before.
Well, this is the only one. You're not going to see
right.
it. There are no original photographs of this car until 1971. However, Giovanni Micheletti, who designed this car for Vinali, did a design drawing. So this car was a bespoke car.
And it has the thick white walls,
Well,
which I know is period normal, but you don't see that on a lot of Ferraris.
It's not very normal on Ferraris, and
Right.
this car did not sport white walls until about a month ago.
Okay.
We finally said, you know, let's do what Giovanni envisioned. They envisioned this car as being their luxury car for their high-end customers. And Vinali had some neat ideas. So, for example, you'll see the sun visors, a glass material,
Oh,
tinted.
wow.
But you can still see through them, and yet the sun is not going to bother you while you're driving.
Oh, that's super cool.
The taillights, he loved this slotted taillight type. It's recessed into the fender, but you can see it from the rear and from the side. So what you have here is a 4.3-liter Lampredi racing engine.
Wow.
I think it's 159 Ferraris in the entire history have Lampredi engines, and most of them are competition cars. And they said, let's put them in a high-end GT car for our best clientele. So it's super powerful and yet luxurious.
That's just simply spectacular. And, you know, I mean, this is priceless stuff.
Those are all original tick marks or hammer marks from the Vinali workers.
Wow.
All that's been preserved. They sit down with a piece of sheet metal and they hammer it into the shape they want.
That's unbelievable.
It's the epitome of what a supercar is. Exotic materials, extremely expensive.
Caffeine and Octane is brought to you by Haggerty. Let's drive together. And by Auto Tempest. All the cars, one service.
Why is this in here? I mean, I love flying mirror Testarossas, but how is this a supercar?
It's pretty special, isn't it?
Chris Brewer, Communications Director, Amelia Island.
How you been?
I mean, I've been doing well. I mean, it's, you know, I have one of these. I think it's super special, but I'm just a little confused. Supercars and, I mean...
When you say you have one of these, do you mean that you have a screenshot car from the show Miami Vice?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, that makes a little bit more sense. That's what made these iconic. And that's why I loved the Testarossa as a kid.
This is the car that was on the show. This is the screenshot car. This is the hero car.
Don Johnson's sweat still on the thing. I mean, it literally looks like it just rolled off the set.
I think all of us, when we think of a supercar, it may be very different, but it still is prestigious, right? It's
Right.
still rare. What makes this class special for me is I was able to put together a class of cars that had all the cars of the posters that I had in my bedroom as a kid.
That's right. Boom, here's a McLaren F1, right? I mean, you know, boom, you know, here's a Porsche 959. But this is like one of the most extravagant beauty contests.
XGR15 Jaguar, 6-liter V12 engine. Let's face it, this thing is like a rolling circus. It's like a rolling carnival or something.
And so far ahead of its time, right? It's a 1991, right?
1991.
Fully carbon fiber.
Yep. It's the epitome of what a supercar is. Exotic materials, extremely expensive. And you know, when you look at these cars, you're gonna see all of my Matchbox cars that I had as a kid. This is a 1981 Lamborghini Countach.
Yep.
It is the intervention car for the Monaco Grand Prix. I I had that Matchbox car when I was a kid. It grabbed my attention. It's wedge shaped. It's got this light bar, and I think we used to pretend it was the cop car. So we would have these chases around the kitchen. To see it in full size form, 1-to-1 scale, it's kind of mind blowing.
And you want to talk about supercar of supercars. This is the pinnacle supercar, and this one is absolutely unbelievable. Serial number 001, the first one ever off the production line.
Yes. Ferrari went back to their roots. They went back to the V12, normally aspirated, 4.7-liter engine. This car was built to celebrate the 50th anniversary, right?
The Ferrari F50, only convertible supercar. 001, the only one to ever come off the assembly line with the yellow stripe. That's history right there. I mean, that's historical.
That's exactly right.
That's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see something like that.
The idea is to capture an imagination, whether it's from a child or someone who's a little bit older. For a show like this to survive well into the future, we need to grab the next generation. These cars connect with folks that are a little bit younger. And my hope is that they come in here to see maybe this beautiful F40, and while they're here, they wander over and see the Duesenbergs. And it brings their imaginations to a time that's a little bit earlier than what they're used to.
Not every car at Amelia Island Concourse is a perfect car. And a good example is this AC Bristol. I love the fact that it's so much originality on the interior. And this is Donnie Gould. I know Donnie.
Hey, Skip, how you doing? Good to see you.
Tell me a little about this car, Donnie.
So this is a AC Bristol, the forerunner of the AC Cobra.
One of the things that I really get excited about is this is the roots of what Carroll Shelby saw and decided to make a supercar out of it.
This car was designed by John Tajero, and it's basically the same chassis components as the original 260 Cobras. Body's a little bit different, but most of the chassis components are the same with the exception of the engine. 6-cylinder Bristol engine. The Bristol engine failed. They were very expensive, and so the easiest form of repair was put in a big American V8.
Yes.
And off you go.
Well, that's the sound of a well-maintained car that you can just reach in and crank it over.
Yeah, this thing's well dialed in, and actually had it up to 120 miles an hour, so it scoots right down the road.
I bet. Oh, wow. How much boost?
So we're running 30 pounds of boost. Do about. Yeah. These great car events like the Amelia Island Concours d'Elegance, they're a ritual that happens every year. So for us, this is Disneyland, this is the Super Bowl, this is, the World Series come together. And so for Hagerty, we have activations and driving programs and the youth judging and all sorts of things going on. So it's just really important and the celebration of what we love.
I enjoyed this walking through this area here. There were some interesting cars through here. Look at this Supra. Are you familiar with it?
Well, not this particular one, but this is the way the car world is changing. So, people are like, I don't get the import tuner market. It's like, well, but people didn't understand the hot rod market back in the 50s
no,
either.
They did not.
Same thing, inexpensive, kind of performance looking
and then
car.
make it my way.
Make it my way, and pretty spectacular. Is this yours?
Yes, sir.
Oh, awesome. Super cool.
Yeah, it's my son's car.
Okay,
Yeah,
your son's car.
Yeah, my son's car, and he passed away like 7 years ago,
Oh,
so
I'm
we
sorry,
built it in honor for him.
Fantastic.
So it's a great place to be able to bring it and put it on display and unveil the car. He was a big car guy, and he had worked his way through a Target top Supra, fixed it up well enough that he sold it and was able to get this Supra, which was a twin turbo, 2JZ, Mark IV, right-hand drive, what everybody wants. We wrenched on it all the time, we fixed it, it was a passion. When he passed away, he had a wish list, of all of the different parts that he wanted on it.
The way he wanted to build
The way
it.
he wanted. We wanted it with the big turbo. He wanted to, you know, to push 1,000 horsepower. His colors was white, red, and black. So we took all these themes and built it in honor of him.
Travis actually died on Christmas morning, 2013. So our holidays aren't the best, but we have this group of wonderful people that support us with Travis, and they came out to see what this car was going to do, that we honored him, and they want to be a part of it because they love Travis.
So it's the first time that I've driven it in 7 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's beautiful.
It was just super clean, adding the turbo, getting the horsepower we want for the dyno, and putting that all together.
That's awesome. So what's it making on the dyno?
1,200 horsepower.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
And how much boost?
So we're running 30 pounds of boost to about. Yeah.
So under full boost, I would just stand clear of it, I think.
Well, the first thing I'd ask is how much does it torque steer?
Oh, yeah.
So the good thing is inside the car, there's a computer screen by Haltech that you can actually turn the boost down.
Yeah, sure.
And you know, of course, you get your wastegate, your blow-off valve for all the funky, great sounds,
Yeah,
and you know,
That's
the
great.
two-stepping, and you know, the flames blown out of the back, and all that fun stuff like that.
Wow, carbon fiber, Alcantara.
So the carbon fiber is something my son saved up for to get these carbon fiber door panels, and then we added the touch inside, and then we
that nice touch.
Yeah, and we carried that theme going out through the car.
I think that's part of what interests the next generation is this idea that you get to put your stamp
They
on something,
personalize it.
and it's okay. You're not butchering the car. You're elevating it to something else.
Yep, I
That's what
agree.
makes it super cool.
Really a beautiful, beautiful job on this. Have you had this to other shows?
We haven't had any shows. We finished it right before we got here. It only had 1 mile on it when we brought it here.
Really?
And so the first time I've been able to drive it since Travis passed away was, it's been 7 years. So it's the first time
My
I've been able to
goodness.
drive it. But I mean, it came together beautiful. I just,
It's a beautiful car, and it has such a moving story.
Yeah.
And I can't thank you enough for bringing this car out and sharing it with everyone.
Caffeine and Octane is brought to you by Haggerty. Let's drive together. And by Auto Tempest. All the cars, one search.
This is just truly amazing. A 275 GTB raced at Le Mans. Some of the finest examples of these cars. Martha Bachman, her and her husband Phil are one of our favorite Ferrari collectors.
We brought our 1967 275 GTB 4-cam alloy car. Ours is special because it's one of the 16 alloy versions that were produced.
Something that's interesting, you know, the technical color, this fly yellow.
Right, and look, all the bugs and gnats and flies are attracted to yellow for some reason. We've
That's
noticed
crazy.
that always at
No,
shows.
That's funny.
A 1963 Corvette Stingray with a 427 Z06. I only made a 427 in 63. Please tell me this is your car, because I've been looking for you. This is your car?
I don't want to shatter your dream, but it is.
First of all, it's a split window. God, it's everybody's dream, a Corvette owner's dream.
Exactly.
But the fact that Junior Johnson drove this car
He did.
in NASCAR
In NASCAR.
in the 60s,
In the 60s.
and this really has a 427 in it?
It really does. And that's the most unusual feature of the car. So this was an experiment. The whole car was an experiment. They'd never built a 427 before. So they had to start somewhere.
Right.
And this is where they started. They dubbed this engine the mystery motor. And the point was that nobody knew it existed. No fans in the stand. Nobody knew anything about GM having a 427. So they called it a mystery motor, and they left all the 327 insignias on the side of the car so that they would think that it's a fuel-injected 327.
Oh, so that was to fool people.
It was to fool people.
Really? Back then?
Very cool.
We still do that, you know?
Yeah, I know.
We say it's stock and it ain't stock. When they came out with the 427, didn't they underrate this?
It was rated at 425 or 430 horsepower. When I found this motor, there was a dyno sheet in the box when I opened it, and it was a dyno sheet that said it had 535 horsepower. And this car did extremely well. It sat on the pole in the race.
162 miles an hour.
162 miles an hour. The car is built exactly like Junior Johnson's Holly Farm Chevrolet Impala was made. I'll show you what they did for Daytona, is that they put a 6-point roll cage in this car. The original instrument panel, you can see, has been removed and replaced with a thin sheet of aluminum. There's no hardware in the doors. They used plexiglass for the windows. In keeping everything light and trying to reduce aerodynamic drag, they put in some very special taillights. They took away the stock Corvette taillights, allowing air to come out through the hole, because this whole shape is trapping air.
No way.
When I start a restoration, I don't drill any holes and I don't fill any holes, because I know that a story is going to unfold at some point.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to learn why that hole was there. Once that happens, we flip the switch. The prototype 427 Chevrolet, that's what it sounds like.
427.
Yep.
NASCAR.
Pretty cool.
Wow.